you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. Join us. You know, when women are mad at you, they don't always just tell you exactly what the problem is, what the thing they're mad at you about is. And you have to put on your detective cap, and you have to kind of work backwards, given the clues that you might have all around you, and try to figure out exactly what the situation is. And that's what we're going to do here today. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, 27-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet people tell me humble man. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media, former creative partner of this gentleman right here, Geoff Johns. We did some comics together at DC about a decade ago, and we're going to find out exactly why this woman in question, he's acting like a woman, Ray Fisher, is upset with Geoff Johns. It should be pretty funny. Again, there are breadcrumbs in the media. We follow those breadcrumbs and we can kind of figure out what the situation is. Now, yesterday, 14 hours as of this very moment ago, Ray Fisher released this statement. He said via Twitter that DC Films president, that's Walter Hamada, came over to DC Comics, replacing John Berg, and is working with Geoff Johns on various. He used to do horror movies. I think he did like The Conjuring and all of those kind of like low budget but super successful horror movies. They made a lot of money. That's what Walter Hamada used to do, and now he's over here. He's like the DC Films president, and I think from what I'm hearing, he straightened things out, even though I personally still find most of the movies unwatchable, except for Todd Phillips' The Joker, which, according to Todd Phillips, Walter Hamada just didn't get. He just didn't understand it. But fortunately, despite the fact that almost nobody did understand that movie when it was in production, it came out. It's a big work of art. Everybody likes The Joker quite a bit. All right, so what are these allegations, these accusations against Geoff Johns? Let's take a look. Justice League. Geoff Johns threatened Ray Fisher's career. What is this here? He threatened his career while filming, says Matt McGloin. This is from Cosmic Book News. Matt McGloin's take on this situation. Everybody remembers this. And look at this. Look at the bitterness. Look at this. You threatened my career, sir. All right. Let's see what the story is. Ray Fisher reveals further details about filming the Justice League movie with Joss Whedon, which saw problems with DC's Geoff Johns. The Cyborg actor's latest post on Johns sees Fisher go so far as to say that Geoff Johns actually threatened his career. During the here we go. Here's Ray Fisher's tweet on this subject here. This is just fascinating. During the LA reshoots for Justice League, Geoff Johns summoned me into his office to belittle and admonish my and my agent's attempts to take grievances up the proper chain of command. So evidently, Ray Fisher had some grievances on the set of one of the most troubled blockbuster motion pictures since Waterworld, and he wanted to complain, and Geoff Johns just wouldn't let him complain. Evidently, he says he then made a thinly veiled threat to my career. This behavior cannot continue. A is better than E. What that means is accountability is more important than entertainment. Says you, not to me, Ray Fisher. I'd rather be entertained than have people tiptoe around you and whatever your problems are. Having said that, this is interesting. So, one reads this and goes, boy, this sounds really diabolical. It sounds terrible. What did Geoff Johns do to Ray Fisher? What do you mean he threatened him, he belittled and admonished him? I know Geoff Johns. I've known Geoff Johns for many years, and I think that even though I wasn't there, I feel like I'm qualified to take an educated guess about what happened with this situation. I think that Ray Fisher probably wasn't happy with either the way Joss Whedon was treating him, or Joss Whedon wasn't taking his creative suggestions about the script. In fact, I think that's probably about it. I think Ray Fisher probably had a better relationship with Zack Snyder creatively than he did with Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon didn't care about this movie. He just came in to finish it off when Zack Snyder had family problems and was unable to finish the movie. And Ray Fisher complained a lot. That's my guess. And Geoff Johns didn't really he didn't appreciate it. He was like, look, we've got a movie here that's in major trouble, and I'm so sorry the people aren't kissing your feet. and making you feel better about whatever it is that you're complaining about. But I will tell you this, if you make yourself a nuisance on the set of this movie, it's likely that you will not find yourself on the Warner Brothers lot working in DC Entertainment Films as Cyborg in the future. And this was a problem. So here's Geoff Johns right here. What is this? Geoff Johns not well liked within the film industry. That's interesting. There's something, even though it's shocking to hear this, there's some reason to back that up. From an article 2019, sometime last year, former DC president Diane Nelson, Geoff Johns is, quote, no buddy of mine. She was on Twitter, and somebody said, hey, your buddy Geoff Johns, and she was quick. She'd been dismissed. She'd been fired already. And she just came right out and kind of threw Geoff Johns, under the bus a little bit there, and kind of said, hey, indicated that there were problems, which was interesting, which kind of shocked everyone at the time. But I think it's likely that a good deal of that animosity comes from the fact that this was a lot of money, a lot of stress went into the behind-the-scenes efforts of Justice League. It was not, I don't know. I mean, I had a bad feeling about it from the start. I thought the Flash was pretty weird looking. Aquaman and Wonder Woman certainly had a lot of charisma, but I had a bad feeling about it. It didn't seem like the Justice League to me. It didn't seem like the Justice League movie that everybody wanted to see. And sure enough, it was an enormous bomb. Warner Brothers lost an awful lot of money on this, and thus heads began to roll. John Berg lost his job. That was Geoff's creative partner as chief creative officer at DC Entertainment. Geoff he lost his job too, but he was kind of promoted after this. He found himself in a new position where he is to this very day. He's got his own kind of production company called Mad Ghost. Diane Nelson was fired too. Okay, so a lot of heads rolled over this $100 million that got lost on this movie, and I think there are some bad feelings. Now, this article is from November 24th, 2017. Just because this one movie bombed, do you think that Ray Fisher got the message that there probably wasn't going to be another Justice League movie for him in the near future? Do you think the Cyborg character might be over? Well, I mean, okay, hold on. I mean, a year later, here's Ray Fisher, and he's saying, I'm told that there's going to be a Cyborg solo movie. It's supposed to happen in April of 2020. That's when it's going to be released. And I still want to work with Zack Snyder. Ray Fisher's still kind of not getting the message that, when a big superhero blockbuster bombs, people want to erase their memory of it, take a breather, and then try to start over again with maybe a new cast. But here he is pining over Zack Snyder. DC's extended universe landscape has changed a lot in the last 4 years. In late 2014, Warner Brothers announced its initial slate of movies for the franchise. And DC used to do this all the time. Warner Brothers would go to San Diego Comic-Con and they would just sort of project these superhero movies that were never going to happen way out into the future. I remember, last time I went over to Geoff Johns' house, he was working on a Flash family movie and Metal Men. He was always writing these movie scripts that he was assigned, these screenplays that were never going to happen. They were just never going to happen because, different people come in and they scrap old ideas. So in 2014, Ray Fisher's told that there's going to be a Cyborg movie in 2020, and even though Justice League bombed, which probably cleared the slate of all of those movies, he's still talking about it. He's saying it's looking increasingly unlikely that Cyborg will arrive in 2020, but actor Ray Fisher is still out there talking about having Zack Snyder helm that standalone movie if it ends up moving forward. In Fisher's words here, let's scroll down. Zack explained what the overall plan for me was at that time, and that there was the potential of a Cyborg standalone down the line. Assuming the story would be grounded and compelling, I'd love to do a solo film. Oh, you don't say. I think Cyborg has the potential for a superhero film unlike any that we've seen before. If Zack were ever to come back to direct another DC film, he'd be my top pick to direct. Ray Fisher, like it would ever be your choice, like you would ever have a say in such a thing. Again, this was still, even after the Justice League movie bombed and it was a disaster and it lost $100 million, probably more than that, dollars, and left a lot of people with bad feelings. Ray Fisher is still out there, like man, there's going to be a Cyborg solo movie. Cyborg, the least interesting character in this movie, and of course, April 2020 comes and goes. This is Screen Rant. DC's Cyborg movie was supposed to release today. Why it didn't happen? That's right, April 3rd, 2020, and of course, as we know, there was no Cyborg movie at all. But that doesn't mean that Ray Fisher isn't working as Cyborg. Apparently, he's going to be in the Flashpoint movie. He's got a brief role in Flashpoint. If that movie even still happens, I mean, these things just they don't mean anything until they actually materialize. It's like 90% of movie news is just hopefulness. It doesn't necessarily mean any of it's going to happen. But yeah, here we go, April 3rd, 2020, and of course the movie doesn't ever materialize, and it never will. But from what I hear, Ray Fisher is already complaining about some of the dialogue or whatever it is that's in the Flashpoint movie, and it has made him sad. Even sadder, here's Ray Fisher's IMDb page. As you can see, actor Ray Fisher, 6 things. 5 titles that he's been in. We can look at those 5 titles if we want to. Scrolling down, he was in Justice League in 2017. He was in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Of course, Zack Snyder. He had a working relationship. He was in a couple of more little things, little bit parts here and there. But really, his career appeared to be that he was going to be Cyborg in Justice League. And as we scroll up, looks like he had a nice role in True Detective. But upcoming projects, we click on that, there's only one, and it is Zack Snyder's Justice League. And for 2021, that's it. Work has completely dried up. There's nothing on the horizon. Now, if you go to IMDb, and you look up almost anybody, almost any actor, you hit their upcoming projects, and they've got short films, they've got, real actual films, all projected out into the future, things that are in production, that kind of thing. He's got nothing. He's got look at him. He's got nothing on the horizon. This is a man with nothing on the horizon, and he has a man to blame for that. And so here we go. Back to the article from 14 hours ago, from which we began. Ray Fisher says DC Films president, that's Walter Hamada, asks him to recant accusations against Geoff Johns. Now, this is pretty interesting. Ray Fisher did call for a full investigation by Warner Brothers against all of the torment that he went through at the hands of Geoff and John Berg, and of course Joss Whedon. This article here, Zack Snyder's Justice League star, in quotes, Ray Fisher, stated that DC Films president Walter Hamada asked him to recant his accusations that former DC chief creative officer Geoff Johns fostered a toxic and abusive work environment. Abusive and toxic, those are of course SJW. Toxic is an SJW buzzword. Abusive is just feminine. So you can better understand how deep this goes. This is his tweet that he released today. So you can better understand how deep this goes. After speaking out about Justice League, I received a phone call from the president of DC Films, wherein he attempted to throw Joss Whedon and John Berg under the bus in hopes that I would relent on Geoff Johns. I will not. More important than E, accountability is more important than entertainment. And by accountability, Ray Fisher basically means you made promises to me. You promised me a Cyborg film in 2020. You promised me that I was going to be a movie star, and then you wouldn't you wouldn't come through on any of those things. And I believe at this point, I think it's Geoff's fault. I think Geoff probably, when he took me into the office and he gave me a dressing down about my behavior, I think Geoff probably destroyed my Cyborg future. I'm positive that that's not true. So in any case, that's my opinion. Thus far, none of Fisher's co-stars have stepped up to affirm or debunk his statements. That's good. There's a little bit of omerta there against Johns or Whedon or Berg. Fisher previously accused Johns of threatening his career, which led to Warner Media opening an investigation into the claims. So Warner Media just went, look, this guy, he's like a loose cannon. He is like this guy. I'll tell you, boy, it really is kind of feminine. It's weird. It's like, you made promises to me, and now I'm gonna. So like a loose cannon, this guy is saying whatever he wants. I don't think that he expects to work at Warner Brothers again. I don't think he expects to work in movies again. So he might as well just blast everyone he can. If this is true, if Walter Hamada did say, hey, could you just ease up? We're going to investigate Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon is so powerful that any allegations against him are just going to bounce off of his back. It doesn't really matter. And John Berg, they've already kind of given up on. They don't care. If John Berg takes the blame of all of the, whatever Ray Fisher says, then that's fine because he's not coming back. But Geoff Johns is still an important part of DC Entertainment, still an important part of Warner Brothers, and he's got the Star Spangled Kid show right now, Star and Stripe, I guess it's called. I haven't watched it yet. I hear it's good though. And so they're like, could you just knock it off with the stuff about Geoff Johns? He says, I will not. And so, despite all this, in spite of this, grandstanding, in spite of all of that, evidently, Warner Brothers responds and says, look, Ray Fisher is not cooperating with the Justice League misconduct investigation. We're doing what we promised that we would do. This guy's wearing a Wonder Woman shirt. What the we're doing everything that we said we were going to do. And this guy, I guess, is not cooperating. Fisher has alleged misconduct by filmmaker Joss Whedon and producers Geoff Johns and John Berg. Warner Brothers has accused Justice League actor Ray Fisher of not cooperating with a misconduct investigation and backed its DC Films president Walter Hamada in a statement late Friday night. Fisher, who played Cyborg in the 2017 movie, had previously alleged misconduct by filmmaker Joss Whedon and producers John Berg and Geoff Johns, who lost $100 million on the Justice League movie. It's over. You got to walk away from that whole thing right now. They're going to try to make some of that money back with the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League movie for HBO Max, and I think they will make some of that money back. People are pretty excited about that. While Fisher has not revealed specifics, and people are like, what did Geoff say to you? What did Joss do to you? What was abusive? What was so inhumane on the set? And so far, we've gotten no details. We've just gotten vagaries. The studio did an investigation earlier in the summer. On Monday, Fisher tweeted that Hamada attempted to throw Joss Whedon and John Berg under the bus in hopes that I would relent on Geoff Johns. Johns is a star DC Comics writer and is currently basking in the strong reviews and even stronger sales of the first issue of his latest work, Three Jokers. Okay, so Geoff Johns right now is able to move 300,000 copies of an $8 comic book for DC Comics. They do not want this guy's name tarnished. In a statement, a studio spokesperson defended Hamada, saying, at no time did Mr. Hamada ever throw anyone under the bus, as Mr. Fisher has falsely claimed, or render any judgments about the Justice League production in which Mr. Hamada had no involvement since filming occurred before Mr. Hamada was elevated to his current position. Walter Hamada got his job after Justice League was over. And the consequences of the Justice League disaster are what led to Walter Hamada, who was used to taking low budget horror films and making them gloriously successful. The studio also stated that Fisher, and I think Walter Hamada worked on Shazam. I think that might have been his first film. The studio has also stated that Fisher has so far refused to cooperate. Why? Why would he refuse with the investigation, noting that to date, Mr. Fisher has declined to speak to the investigator. This is the latest in a back and forth between the actor that became on July 4th, when Fisher tweeted that the filmmaker Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. Does this guy sound like a woman scorned? This is really, really strange. Whedon took over directing duties on Justice League after Zack Snyder stepped away from the project in 2017. Zack Snyder had to walk away. His daughter very sadly committed suicide in the middle of production of the film, and he just couldn't. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He just couldn't finish the film. So it just ended up being a big disaster for everyone, and a very sad thing. Nobody's happy about the Justice League movie. Complicating matters is that Fisher is also deep in negotiations to reprise his role as Cyborg for a cameo, just a cameo appearance, in Ezra Miller's soon-to-be disastrous The Flash, which is due to shoot next year and already counts Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. See, these are the people that we want to see. Both back as versions of Batman among the cast. Whedon and Johns have remained silent following Fisher's claims in July, while Berg has publicly denied them. See, John Berg doesn't care. He's just going to say whatever he wants to say. This is the full statement from Warner Brothers spokesperson. In July, Ray Fisher's representatives asked DC Films president Walter Hamada to talk to Mr. Fisher about his concerns during the production of Justice League. The two had previously spoken when Mr. Hamada asked him to reprise his role as Cyborg in Warner Brothers' upcoming Flash movie, together with other members of the Justice League. In their July conversation, Mr. Fisher recounted disagreements he'd had with the film's creative team regarding his portrayal of Cyborg, and complained that his suggested script revisions were not adopted. There it is! This is what his problems are. These are the things that he was trying to kick upstairs via the quote-unquote proper channels. He's upset that his creative suggestions were not adopted. His revisions, his creative revisions were not adopted. Well, screw you. Mr. Hamada explained that creative differences are a normal part of the production process and that a film's writer-director ultimately has to be in charge of these matters. Notably, Mr. Hamada also told Mr. Fisher that he would elevate his concerns to Warner Media so they could conduct an investigation. At no time did Mr. Hamada ever, quote-unquote, throw anyone under the bus, as Mr. Fisher has falsely claimed, or render any judgments about the Justice League production, in which Mr. Hamada had no involvement since filming occurred before Mr. Hamada was elevated to his current position. While Mr. Fisher never alleged any actionable misconduct against him, Warner Media nonetheless initiated an investigation into the concerns he'd raised about his character's portrayal. Still not satisfied, Mr. Fisher insisted that Warner Media hire an independent third-party investigator. This investigator has attempted multiple times to meet with Mr. Fisher to discuss his concerns, but to date, Mr. Fisher has declined to speak to the investigator. That's weird. Warner Brothers remains committed to accountability and to the well-being of every cast and crew member on each of its productions. It also remains committed to investigating any specific and credible allegation of misconduct, which thus far, Mr. Fisher has failed to provide. He's failed to provide any specific allegations of anything except complete and total ass-mad butthurt. I do not understand this. I understand it. I think, this was his chance, and it is very, very sad. It's like, I imagine Ben Affleck's creative suggestions were probably listened to a little bit more than Ray Fisher's, and, that annoyed him. And also the disappointment of not getting the Cyborg solo movie or anything that you wanted. Nothing that you wanted, sir. Life is full of disappointments. Damn it, you're stuck being a one-time or a two-time movie star. You got to be in 2 movies, and that's it. Isn't that unfair? Thanks for watching, everyone. We're going to keep our eye on this situation, but I think I've got a pretty good handle on what's going on. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you agree, let me know in the comments below. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, and also please subscribe to this channel. I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye-bye. Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. This is Ethan Van Sciver, and let me tell you about Cyberfrog 2, Wrecked Planet. In this follow-up to Blood Honey, Cyberfrog wakes up in the year 2018 to find the world has been devastated by vicious alien wasps called the Vespers. What remains of humanity has fled into the woods for survival. Disconnected from his brother Salamandroid and his mother's ship, Chel Sin, for Cyberfrog, fighting back will mean the worst loss of all. Now is your chance to sign up to be notified by email when this campaign launches in March. You'll receive an exclusive Vespis trading card with your backing when you do. No one else will get one, just you. And remember, everyone, stay calm, stay in the trees, stay near the smoke, and always wear red. See you in March. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on a live stream. Thanks very much, everyone.